What's up, everybody? It's Glenn back with Big Jack, back with another episode of the Best Bets of the NFL Weekend video. This is the Fade Sports Betting Podcast. We're coming to you guys with a pretty solid week in Week 12 that got our show above 500 on the year. I went 2-1 to finally get myself to 18-18 on the season. Jack went 1-1-1 to get himself to 19-16-1 on the season. Quick side note, got to make the point that I did win the head-to-head bet against Jack with the Cleveland Browns and that nasty defense against the Raiders. But overall, I think we're in a good spot as a show. Just got to keep piling up those positive weeks. Jack, how you feeling heading into Week 13?
Solid. Feel a little frustrated. I should have known better than to go against you. But like we said, that's not gonna change the way we do things around here. But yeah, good pick, good one on you. I honestly don't feel horrible about a lot of the opinions and thoughts that led me to the Raiders. But I certainly underestimated just how woeful that offensive line is. I mean, it's all-time bad over there. And yeah, Shedeur did decent enough, but it was all that defensive line just causing a absolute ruckus in the backfield. But yeah, 19-16-1, a few weeks left on the back end of the season. We're right at Thanksgiving, rolling into December. I think we're not quite where we strive to be, doing this together, but we're, given where we were at the start of the year, I think we've made consistent progress and just got to continue to build on that down the stretch here. And hopefully, we're feeling good about all the data points and things we like to account for rolling into December. I feel like we're definitely at the point of the season where we know what these teams are and, hopefully can have that much more confidence week in and week out.
Yeah, man. I feel great about where we're at. I also feel great that it's the holiday week. Happy Thanksgiving to those at home. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Thanksgiving with some loved ones and some good food and some football. We are recording this episode on a Tuesday. So bear with us a little bit with some injury gray areas and any storylines going on. But on the positive side, might catch a Thanksgiving Day game or a Friday game, maybe even this week in our picks. So we do have the full slate as options for us, which is kind of cool. Jack, any last thoughts before we hop into the picks, or is it just time to hop into them?
No, yeah, I think you summed it up well. Let's get it.
All right, man, let's hop into the picks. My first pick, picking a team that's coming off a bye, and I'm actually kind of high on them the rest of the season, despite being very down on them early on in the season. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins, -6 against the New Orleans Saints. I know it's a lot of points for a Miami team that is less than stellar, but I just think New Orleans is that bad. They're 2-9 with 8 of their losses coming by 6 points or more. I love Miami in this spot. I think they have no problem covering that 6-point spread. I could see this one maybe even getting a little bit ugly. Miami -6, that's my first pick of the week.
Got nothing against it. Not on that game one way or another myself. I think it is seemingly a big-ish number for a team like Miami who hasn't been that great. But obviously the Saints are sort of in the sweepstakes for number one overall pick. Who knows how much they really even want to win football games. I know players are always going to go out there and do their thing, but organizationally, this time of year, you see a little bit of funny business on occasion. So, yeah, I don't hate that one at all. I think they're certainly a better team. It's just a matter of if they sneak out of there by at least a touchdown. My first game, I'm going against probably, I don't know, the hottest team in the league, arguably. It's a divisional game. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts -4.5 at home against the Houston Texans. Texans have been rolling. That defense is something serious. It's incredibly impressive the way that they've performed throughout the course of the year. Not only what they're doing yardage, but points against. A lot of times you see defenses where, they're like decent at one thing and they're really good at another. It's kind of rare that you see a team like Houston who's so dominant in both of those categories kind of leading the charge. So I don't mean to kind of put down that side of it, but I think Indianapolis kind of knows where they're at. They've dropped a few on the road the past couple of weeks. I think they'll be hungry after a disappointing finish in that Kansas City game. I think they'll go back. They'll be a little bit more comfortable at home. I think Shane Steichen gets that offense to do what is required to cover that 4.5. And I'm not so sure Houston's going to be able to keep pace on the offensive side of the ball. Give me the Colts -4.5.
Colts no doubt have the better offense in that game. Question to me is that Houston defense, man. They're tough. So be interesting to watch that game. Houston also needs that game in the worst way. I mean, they need most of their games the rest of the way, but Indy's trying to make that playoff push too. They obviously need it as well, but um, that's a game I don't really have a side I love, but that's one of those games that we've talked about a few times this year. I'm going to be interested to watch. And it seems like Houston's in those games a lot of times, funny enough. But yeah, okay. Good pick. My second pick of the week. It's a very square pick, and that's the only thing that's scaring me. We've also, as a show, been 0-2 on this team the last 2 weeks. I'm going in Kansas City again, man. Kansas City -3 at Dallas. I know Dallas is coming off that big one at Philly. Their backs up against the wall. They need to win a good stretch of games to have any shot at the playoffs. That being said, Kansas City needs this game too. Patrick Mahomes -3. That offense is good against the Dallas team that I still don't really believe in. I do think they're better since they made the Quinnen Williams trade, but I don't know, man. I got more faith in that Kansas City defense than the Dallas defense. And for that reason, you couple that with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, only 3 points. Give me Kansas City -3 at Dallas. That's my second.
I love that one. It was certainly caught my eye, not enough to fit it into the top three, but I think it's the appropriate side there. Dallas is playing better, and they're equally desperate along the same thought there as Kansas City. They're coming off that big win at home against Philly, 21-point comeback. A lot of things look really good on the offensive side of the ball, but I think catching 3 points at home on Thanksgiving, I think there's going to be a lot of the, I don't know this to be a fact, but I think the public side of that game will kind of trend towards Dallas, which usually you don't see that in a Kansas City game. So I like that for you as well. I think they go out there and find a way. I feel like historically we kind of get some stinkers on Thanksgiving. With the Lions, usually throughout the course of our lifetime, they've been nothing great. But you got some good Thanksgiving games this year between Lions and Packers, the one that you're playing that afternoon. So, yeah, you're going to have to get the meal in, but then enjoy yourself some good football on Thursday. My second game, going to another ugly duckling. I'm going to take the New York Jets at home +2.5 against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are... I don't know. That's a tough team to really get a read on. I feel like they're very unpredictable week to week, but I just think you're giving less than a field goal to the Jets. I think it's a seemingly no doubt winner with the Falcons. Oh, they'll for sure cover a field goal. I think that defense gets after it. I still think Aaron Glenn has them playing, has them competing. I think they'll do so again this week. I think they make things tough on Kirk Cousins, who looked a lot better this week than he has in his previous starts. So maybe he's getting his feet under him a little bit. I'm not quite convinced that, there's a reason he's on the shelf. I think the Jets, find a way to get it done. I like them outright. If you want to get a little taste of that money line, it's sitting at +120 right now, but I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah, I think Vegas wants people to pick the Falcons. I think you're on the right side there, being all over New York Jets. Atlanta's just one of those teams. They're so hit or miss every week, man. I think they are worse with Kirk Cousins than Penix, even though I know Kirk Cousins is your boy. Give me the Jets. I like that too. My last pick of the week.
Got to be going over under, right?
I'm not. I'm no over unders.
Another one last week, 3-0 the past 2 weeks on over unders. It's hot, baby.
I know, but they got to speak to me, and none were speaking to me. You know what I mean? I'm going to a game where two teams are coming off a bye. I don't know how often that happens, but it's happening here. The Denver-Washington game, both those teams are coming off bye. I'm going to go with Denver -6.5 at Washington. It's kind of a lot of points for a road game, and I know Denver, they're better offensively at home, but I just think that's a Washington team that's dead. Their season's over, and I think Denver just rolls them. I think that defense is the real deal. I think Peyton will have them having a good game plan coming off that bye, and I think they roll in Washington. Give me the Broncos -6.5.
Nothing to say against that one other than the point that you raised always. I mean, generally you feel better backing a team at home, but Denver specifically, their splits home and away are kind of outlandish. So that's the only part of it that I'd be a little concerned about. But yeah, I'm not running to the window to back the Redskins this season for sure. My third and final game of the week, I did it a couple weeks ago. It actually worked out for me. They ended up winning the game outright as a pretty big dog. I'm taking the Vikings plus 10.5, man. It's so many points, and I
It's so
realize
many
that.
points.
I mean, I think there's a world in which JJ McCarthy's like not even a backup in this league. And in like 2 years, maybe they play out the string of this season. Maybe they give him a little bit of a look after another full off season early next year. But I think he's a guy, with how bad he's looked, he might not even make it at all in any form or fashion in this league. But that roster, I don't know, maybe I just foolish to think it's as good as I value it. But I still think that's quarterback aside, which I realize the importance of that position in all of sports. Quarterback is number one, not just football, let alone. But I don't know, man. That roster is still too good to be giving up 10.5 points to anybody. I think they go out there, they compete, and keep it within that window.
It's so many points, man. You see that line and you're like, holy cow, what do they know? But yeah, I get it. I get it. Seattle, my thoughts on Seattle. I freaking love them. I think they're
Sam Darnold revenge game, I guess. But I mean, shit, I feel like Brian Flores is going to know how to heat him up.
I think Seattle is what I think their roster is what you think the Vikings is, man. I think their roster is the real deal. And I think Minnesota has a little bit to be desired right now, especially at the quarterback position. But 10.5 points, you'd like to think they could cover that. All right. Quick recap for everybody at home. I am on Miami -6, Kansas City -3, and Denver -6.5. Don't love being on 3 favorites, but I'm on them. You're bringing it back with a couple dogs. You're on Minnesota plus 10.5, New York Jets plus 2.5, and a favorite in Indy -4.5 versus Houston. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody at home. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Hit the bell. Do all the good stuff. We're up to 69 subscribers. Nice.
Hey, nice.
Yeah. We do this for fun. We would do it if we had 0 viewers, I feel like, but it does make it a little bit more fun to me when we got a few people commenting and tuning in. So appreciate you at home and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Jack, any final thoughts?
No, man. Beautiful summation. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy it. And Bears.